And now we're live.
Good morning, everyone. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of March. Welcome everyone to the mighty morning live with Dr. Kiltz.
And Alia. And today, meat-based mom, Jamie.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Go ahead and put in the chat where you're watching from, please. We love having people from all over the world here. I'm in Central Florida. Also, any questions, put them in the chat and hashtag KMT for a chance to win. You are muted. A Kiltz Cup, okay. All right. So, Jamie, welcome.
Thank
to
you.
The morning show here. Why don't you go ahead and start introducing yourself and telling us your keto carnivore story.
Okay. Well, I'm Jamie. I'm a Christian. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 4 little ones. And I came to carnivore really for the weight loss. And I just stayed for everything else that I experienced. I said I was going to do this for 7 days. I thought it was kind of crazy. And then I'm in about 2 years. So still here. And I started my page just to share my journey and share how simple I believe it is and how I kind of incorporate my family into that. They're not fully carnivore or anything, but when I really jumped into this lifestyle, I transitioned them to mostly a whole foods diet, really conscious of their blood glucose and sugar and carb intake, and saw them experience healing as well. So that's why I started my page, because I know how overwhelming that can be as a mom. And I just felt like I should share.
All right. So what things did you have that you were able to improve by going carnivore?
So I'll start with a little bit of drama. I came from a long
We love drama.
Yeah, just a long history of chronic illness. I had autoimmune that hit me with the thyroid storm at 16 years old. And to put a long story short, they could not get my thyroid under control. So the standard procedure is to either remove it or to kill it with radiation. So that's what I went through. And I also had pretty bad gut issues, pretty significant gut issues at the time that just kind of like snowballed for the next 15 years. So I tried a lot of things to get better once I hit adulthood. First, I went gluten-free. I was having debilitating joint pain, and just awful IBS and bloating and pain. And the gluten-free diet did help me, but it wasn't enough. But I did that for about 10 years. And I saw improvements in like the joint pain. And looking back, I'm pretty sure it was like a celiac disease situation. But I would never go back to eating gluten to find out for sure. But so the gluten-free diet did a lot for me. And then I finally started looking into just a deeper nutrition protocol. I went to some naturopaths throughout this whole journey. And I guess I should add, I did go to a lot of conventional doctors throughout my whole life too. And, you know, they don't address your diet. They don't address your fuel, what's going in. But eventually on my own, I started looking into it. I did go to a naturopath, very expensive, all the supplements. It was very draining on the budget. She did direct me to like a paleo diet to try for, I was experiencing chronic fatigue, energy crashes, still a lot of IBS, not as extreme as it was, but it would flare up and it would still get pretty bad. So I did this paleo diet. It was like an autoimmune protocol that she wrote up for about a year and a half. Tons of vegetables. There was meats, there was proteins, but it was not the focus. The focus was these gigantic green salads and all these crazy expensive ingredients. And I did see some improvements just because it was cutting out processed food. Because even though I was on a gluten-free diet, I was on a gluten-free standard American diet. And it only did so much for me. So cutting out all the processed foods, I did see some other benefits. My energy started to get better. And then I just started hearing about carnivore. Thought it was crazy because I was eating these gigantic cartons of greens and wondering why my stomach was inflated like a balloon still, having all this pain. And then sugar addiction. I learned a lot about sugar addiction. Even on paleo, I've had these sugar cravings my whole life where it sounds crazy to say it, but it felt like it controlled me. I'd finish a meal and it's like I could not stop at just one treat. It consumed me and I didn't like that either. So on paleo, it's a common problem where you just kind of replace all of your sweets with paleo versions of the sweets with honey and with maple syrup, and you're still not getting the insulin addressed. So I didn't really learn about that until you're in the depths of carnivore and learned why the way that you were. So I did start carnivore in January of 2024 and immediately saw gut benefits. Like my stomach had never been so flat at the end of the day. It was usually just kind of like crampy, inflated, and that was normal to me. I just lived with it. So then I go to carnivore and I experience what life is like without constant like stomach pain every day. Um, and then the sugar cravings it just blew my mind how my sugar cravings that I felt like I've had my whole life just resolved. And I never thought that was possible. So, I mean, all those other diets did a little bit, but I didn't even know how good I was capable of feeling until I was into carnivore. And I mean, it didn't happen immediately, all my benefits. Some things took longer than others, but um, I experienced uh, positive enough benefits to stick around and find out.
Were there any unexpected improvements, things you didn't even perhaps know you had problems with, and then you went carnivore and these other things improved?
Yeah, well, the sugar cravings were probably the biggest unexpected thing because it was so intense. And my husband's like the complete opposite. Like he can have a treat and move on with his life. And I can't get my mind off of the container of cookies on the counter after having just one. And it makes you feel like you're kind of like crazy because it's just a cookie. But I've heard so many stories of other people experiencing the same things. So that was unexpected. My IBS clearing up was unexpected. I mean, like I joined carnivore to kind of lose my weight after my fourth baby. So everything else I experienced was unexpected. My sleep improved. Um, just my energy improved. Around the
Any
1 year,
anxiety?
yep, anxiety improved. Just like that nighttime worrying for no reason. That definitely improved. I wrote some stuff down so I didn't want to miss anything. Just the bloating, systemic inflammation. If you look at the picture a couple weeks before I went carnivore, I have a picture, and even just a month or two into carnivore, I hadn't lost a significant amount of weight. I lost maybe like 7 to 10 pounds, which I know is significant, but I look like I lost 20 pounds because the inflammation flushed out of my body. And that happened within just a couple weeks. So that it was all just unexpected, pleasantly.
If you have any questions for Jamie, please put them in the chat.
We do have
But
I think let's see. Here's one. Do you eat high fats? If so, what is your go-to fat?
So for the first year, I did lean on the higher fat end of carnivore. And I mostly eat ground beef and I eat eggs and I don't eat fancy cuts of steak. Like we're a family of 6 and it's not practical to feed us all ribeye all the time. So we do a lot of ground beef. I even like cold ground beef where I pour the fat back over it and stick it in the fridge. Like when I started carnivore, that would have sounded disgusting to me. So you can work your way up to that. Put some salt on there. It's like a no-bake cookie, really. But I guess beef fat and butter are my most common forms of fat that I consume. I'll do heavy cream sometimes, but I've never done like the cups and cups of heavy cream. I haven't tried any type of fat fasting or anything like that, but I just buy the fatty ground beef, and that's mostly where I get my fat from. And then egg yolks. I did not do dairy for a while. I've been able to reincorporate dairy on a like limited basis. I try not to overdo it because it can kind of bloat my stomach up. But I will do some dairy, full fat, and that's mostly where I get my fat from. At the 2-year mark, I really got into exercise. So that's something that carnivore kind of like, it just kind of came along with it. I really got into lifting weights consistently. Felt like I had really good energy for that. So I played with my macros. I've kind of tried every version of carnivore at this point. I've tried lion diet. I've tried high protein. I've tried high fat. I've done like the sardine fast experiments and kind of fell maybe somewhere in the middle. And I think I switch it up sometimes too, just to experiment.
when you do treat yourself with a steak, what's your favorite?
Oh, it's definitely a ribeye.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lane K. Penny, do your children eat mostly meat too?
I wouldn't say they eat mostly meat. I try to keep it as the foundation of their diet. So they're getting animal products at every meal and every snack when I can. It's not perfect. But I did notice a lot of benefits in my children when I started doing that, making sure they're always pairing good proteins, good fats, with the rest being whole, real foods, like things we ate 100 years ago. I just try to balance it the best that I can. And I also try not to be a tyrant to them if they want to make a decision about having a treat at a party or whatever the situation is. I feel like it just gives them a little bit of that decision making because I'm not always going to be here to keep them in my little health bubble. So trying to prep them to make good decisions and fuel themselves.
Do you notice any changes in their behavior when they do eat
Oh yeah,
too,
so they've
too
had,
much?
yes, they do, and their tummies aren't the same. Even their sleep can be affected. If there's ever accidentally some red dye that gets in there, which we really try to avoid, but it happens. Yeah, we notice. It's crazy. I can touch on my daughter though, so she started to experience a lot of chronic health symptoms and even some autoimmune markers in her blood work. The year she started kindergarten, so that would have been 2023. And we took her to some different doctors, and she was marking positive for celiac disease, which also makes me feel like I probably had celiac disease too. But she was experiencing all these stomach aches, all these headaches, tired all the time, and she just wasn't herself. And it really concerned me. So I remember specifically where I was driving one day, like it's your baby and you don't know what's wrong. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I felt the overwhelming like peace of God come over me. And it was like put into my brain that I need to get the junk out of our house. And at that point, I was on a pretty like clean paleo diet. It wasn't that bad. Like they were still eating a lot better than her peers in her classroom. But still, there was sugar, there was seed oils, and I just knew that I had to remove it. So then I removed it, and everything changed. She doesn't get those stomach aches like she used to. She doesn't get those headaches. I mean, there's sporadic things that'll pop up for whatever reason, but it's completely different. And all of us don't get sick like we used to. Like when she was going through that, she was bringing home every single virus from kindergarten and passing it through the rest of my house. And now we get sick a lot less and also less severe. That's the other thing with me. My immune system it seemed like it was non-existent because one of us would catch a cold and it might be a runny nose. But for me, it would take me out for a week, like bedridden. It was like I had no immune system left. And now, a lot of times when my kids get sick, I don't even get it. So that was also unexpected. I would say that wasn't just from carnivore. That was like years of trying to rebuild my immune system. But I think carnivore really bumped it up to the next level, and I feel a lot healthier. So there's my long answer to if my kids eat mostly meat.
It's a good
Dr.
answer.
Kiltz?
Dr. Kiltz. Oh, he's on mute.
You're muted.
On my new internet that's fixed, isn't, but it's okay.
So it goes.
I mean, the simplicity of the story is that plants are poisonous and animal products are healthy, and not the lean stuff, the fatty stuff. Isn't that such a simple answer?
Mm-hmm.
And our children are suffering. I had terrible problems as a child, migraines, bowel problems. I couldn't read, kicked out of school eventually in a gang. And looking back now, I know it was that healthy, lean meat, plant-based 3 meals a day plus and snacks, which damage, and that thyroid storm you had was plant goitrogens. And that was it. And so what's your mission? Why are you doing this? Why are you out there sharing?
I just know how I felt at the beginning of just trying to change my nutrition and how overcomplicated it felt and overwhelming it felt because everyone's so deep into standard American lifestyle and diet that it seems impossible that it could be so simple and that it can be affordable. So that's really the motivating factor.
It is so simple that it again, but our brain is challenged to think this way, and we are addicted to sugar.
Mhm.
That's biologic. That's not pathologic, because the sweet sugars of fruits were not there all the time everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we're delivered propaganda, kind of keeps us sick.
Mm-hmm.
Terry wanted to know how many times a day you eat.
So I am one of those rare carnivores that still eats 3 times a day. I know a lot of people are out there doing OMAD or 2 MAD, but I like 3 meals a day. I've tried fasting. I've tried 2 meals a day. Sometimes I will do 2 meals a day if I'm busy or for whatever reason it fits into my schedule. But for the most part, I am a 3 meal a day girl.
Nice. Let's see. How do you deal with food at school or for lunch or parties?
So I actually pulled my child out of school. That helped for sure because that was the biggest source of the poor nutrition was in the school. That was on my top 3 reasons of pulling her among a lot of other reasons. For myself at parties, I will typically either eat before or bring my own food or ensure that there's something there that I can eat. And I've never had any negative comments or feedback about it. My family is extremely supportive. They've seen what I used to be and what I am now, and there's nothing else to it. There's nothing negative about it. So as far as my kids, so I try again to let them make their own decisions within some guidance, like please eat your protein. If they want to have a treat at a party, what I usually do is we'll make something at home that I'm comfortable with them having. I let them help me. They love it. They love being in the kitchen. And we'll bring that to share. Or I let them have a treat with their cousins or whatever where we're at, and it's okay.
So the move to take control of your children's education, would you say that that's something important?
For us, it's very important. Yes.
And in fact, the schools, do you think not only the environment of kind of the way it's done, but the stories we're told could be better, different?
Yes. Yeah. Especially with the food, it could really start with the food, and I'm hoping to see positive changes in that, because I was in my daughter's classroom one day for their breakfast, and I just took note of what was in there, of what was being served for the breakfast, and I went home, added up the grams of sugar, and I mean, granted, it's including fructose and fruit sugar, but their fruit is like a fruit cup in fruit juice. It's not like it's not it's not good. It was over 100 grams of sugar in the breakfast. Not to mention it's all refined. It's all cereal with food dyes and seed oils and everything. And then there's like treats every day, all day. They're motivated with all this sugar. Like if you do a good job, you'll get a lollipop or whatever it is. And it's just not a good model to me to motivate children to behave with sugar. And then, I mean, that was the other thing. I know pulling her out of school obviously gave us less exposure to viruses, but she was in kindergarten and she was stressed out. Like, why are we sending our kindergartners to be stressed out? They have a whole lifetime to deal with that. They don't need to be
Yeah.
dealing with that in kindergarten. I mean, there was kids that weren't so nice. Just being gone from your parents for 7 hours a day, that's stressful on a kid, even if they don't realize it. Like we'd pick her up from school and she just wasn't the same kid. It was sad. So we didn't stay very long.
What does mindset, faith, and spirituality have in this lifestyle?
I say it has a lot to do with this lifestyle. Your mindset, especially, like I guess my mindset now is it would never be worth it for me to go back to eating how I used to just for a moment of enjoyment of something. Um, it just wouldn't be worth it now that I've experienced what it feels like to be healthy. I would never want to go back to that. And then, like, so many people say, oh, I would do anything for my kids. Well, if that's your mindset, then you have to be willing to do that. I would do anything for my kids. Well, are you going to get healthy for your kids? That's huge. That's a huge part of the mindset. And then obviously faith. I am a believer in Christ, and faith has everything to do with everything. So it can be scary at first, to go against the grain and wonder if you're wasting your time. But I guess that's where faith comes in, and also faith that things don't always look, or they're not going to turn out the way that we think they're going to turn out. But if we're putting our faith in God, they're going to turn out the best that he has for us.
Did you notice the spirituality and faith of your life increase and have more clarity on carnivore?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it in regards to carnivore. In motherhood, it definitely
Which is the most important job that we're
Yeah.
neglecting the mothers, and we're poisoning our children, our mothers and fathers. I mean, really, it starts with, as we're in utero, our mothers are taught to consume meals like we're grazing animals and eat. And again, the 3 meals a day is not unreasonable. That's kind of many people do really well on that. It's really what you eat more so than when you eat. But it's interesting, if you're eating the wrong foods, if you eat them less frequently, cook them well, and add animal fat, you'll do a lot better also.
Oh yes. So I've had 5 pregnancies. Actually, I lost my first. But then my following 3 pregnancies was very standard American diet. I gained a wild amount of weight, felt awful, felt tired. I had all the same gut issues, but it's only heightened when you're pregnant, and the soreness everywhere. And then my 4th pregnancy came along, and that's when I really started cleaning up my diet. And even though it wasn't carnivore yet, it was a paleo, clean paleo version. That pregnancy was like completely different, just wildly different in every way. I did not feel horrible through that pregnancy at all. I worked out through the pregnancy. I only gained like 22 pounds or 27 pounds versus like 60 pounds with my first 3, which just makes you miserable in and of itself to gain that much weight. It's very uncomfortable. So even just going to that, I saw a wild amount of benefits of having a clean eating pregnancy versus not.
Is gaining weight actually natural and normal to our ancient selves? But
Not excessively, no.
I didn't get there.
Okay.
But could it be our brain actually knowing something's coming? And that we have labeled it as pathologic, but it's the most physiologic thing you can do, because a mother that doesn't have enough fat can't build their babies.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it takes 60 pounds of it.
It depends on what's coming.
Yeah. In my case, I felt a lot better when I kept it in control, and I only gained what I felt like what I needed to gain.
But I will claim that it's not the fat problem. It's the food that's poisonous that makes us miserable, not the obesity. Obesity is not a disease. It's a physiologic path to survival.
Yeah.
And we've made fat and obesity a disease when it absolutely is not. Because we get that way because we're eating the ancient diet of the fall to get fat for the hibernation, migration, gestation, and living in the cave, or the protection out of the elements. I mean, technically, polar bears don't hibernate. They just gestate. And they cave. They're not in the same state as a brown black bear.
Yeah.
Questions, Alia? I know I saw some there.
There are Lisa on Facebook. Can you recommend a protein powder that is carnivore friendly?
Ribeye steak.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, some ground beef. No, I know a lot of people do use the Equip protein. They do make one that has no flavorings and no sweeteners in it, and it's just beef protein. But I think it can be okay if you're trying to get your protein in a pinch, but I think for the most part, most of your protein should come from meat.
Real food.
Real
Yeah.
food, and no animal drinks their calories.
Mm-hmm.
They eat them. And the misnomer is protein is not good for us. Animal products are, which no animal seeks out protein. They want fat. They eat all day as a grazing animal to get fat, or they go for the fattiest, biggest animals to eat, and eating the fat is critical. Protein is just another path to a pathology, and drinking high protein is high sugar. Essentially, it's a misnomer because proteins break down to sugars in the liver, and then they're converted to fat via insulin. That's it.
Yep.
Jeff Sullivan, did you notice that when you lift weights or work out that you hardly get sore at all?
Yes, I do. It's nice.
Devin Dean, do you do intermittent fasting?
Well, I try my best in most cases to stop eating after dinner and then not eating until breakfast. I don't really push it. I just kind of eat breakfast when I'm hungry. I don't try to do I have tried to do extended fasting here and there, but I don't like it.
How long have you done it for? Any extended fasting?
I did a 24-hour maybe a year or so ago. So it wasn't for me. But I do try not to eat between dinner and breakfast, and that's good for me.
Fasting is not required, but it's one of the healingest things we could do that we're missing. And when you go to the doctor, when you go to the hospital, they put an IV full of glucose, and then they keep it in you, and then they feed you 3 to 6 grammar school meals a day, which is full of plant sugars and lean meat, which is not healthy for us. Fat is the most important tissue of the human body.
Yes.
No fat, no babies.
Yeah, I did try dropping my fat and upping my protein and playing around with the macros, and it just doesn't feel as good. It's pretty obvious. You start to experience low energy. Your food cravings can come back. That's a big one. Like cravings for other things can come back when you're not getting the good fat. I've noticed.
When we use the word good fat, what are we talking about?
Animal fat.
Yeah. Like there's nothing but animal fat, right? Technically.
Yeah.
What does your extended family think about your way of eating, and friends and the circle of friends?
So I've actually had amazing support from my family. I haven't had any negativity. I've even had many family and friends reach out to me to either try carnivore or just curious about carnivore. A lot of them follow my page. I share a lot of my personal social media as well. And I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that think I'm nuts, but that's okay. For the most part, I have received undenying support from my family, and I'm grateful for that.
How about friends?
Yes. and I I only have a couple, and that's all I need. And they're supportive. So, just being in the carnivore space too on Facebook. I mean, I've connected with some amazing people that have become friends. So that's one thing I could tell people if they don't have a support system or if they're receiving negativity from family, there are people out there that will support you. Um, I feel like the carnivore space, for the most part, I mean, there are some outliers, but for the most part, they are good people and they're supportive and they just want everybody to feel better. That's why most of us are here. We're sharing because we want you to have this too.
Are you putting regular content, daily content? I see you have almost 4,500 followers.
Yep, I post pretty regularly.
Okay.
Where's a great place to get support, Dr. Nelson?
Well, the Kiltz Mighty Tribe, come and join our community. How much is it, Alia, to be a member?
It's it's free. You just have to give your email address over.
We have 3 Zoom calls within the community. If you want to become a Kiltz Health certified coach, we can do that also for you.
Growing the community, and that's what it's all about, and connecting and joining all the communities out there. I think that's one of the most important things, be an ambassador to why carnivore lifestyle. And I'd say carnivore lifestyle is probably the best label because you can eat some plants from time to time, well cooked with a lot of fat added, but it's not our staple.
Yeah,
we were ancient hunters and omnivores that focused mostly on the animal products and ate small amounts of plants from time to time. But sometimes you looked over and saw one of your brothers or sisters that ate the wrong plant.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, Jamie. Are you a member of the Kiltz Mighty Tribe?
I am not, but I'm going to have to do that after we get off here.
And we need to be a member of her community. That's real important, that we're all co-members, co-creating, and connected around the globe. And again, it is.
This is actually my Instagram. Looking at her Instagram, as you can see, I'm following her.
Thank you.
Awesome.
What about this? I need a second mortgage to afford this lifestyle.
Jamie, let's talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I am a stay-at-home mom for the most part. I do have a small part-time job from home, but essentially we are a one-income household. And I have 4 kids. And I eat ground beef and eggs for most of my meals, maybe some butter. Yes, definitely some butter. And I love it. And I actually don't feel the need to incorporate all this expensive steak. I mean, yeah, it's delicious, but as far as practicality and deliciousness, I am happy with ground beef and eggs. There are cheaper cuts of steak. You got to learn how to cook them, learn what you can do to make them tender. But to me, I have not experienced where I need a second mortgage. I have actually experienced the opposite, where I feel like I save money doing this, and I'm coming from that paleo gluten-free diet where a loaf of bread was like $9. So a pound of ground beef where I'm at is you can usually get it for under $5 a pound, and I personally don't feel the need to get the most expensive beef or the most expensive eggs. If you can afford the cheapest ones, that's fine. That's what I buy. It's still significantly better than anything else you're going to be purchasing. So I mean, it sounds like it would be expensive when you are only eating meat, but once you get into it and you start doing it, buy beef in bulk, buy eggs in bulk. get some chickens. That's what I have. They're a little bit on strike right now because there's still snow on the ground, but ground beef and eggs. That's how you do it.
Well, most people that go to work will often have the habit of stopping somewhere and getting a cup of coffee and maybe cheese and egg bagel, right?
Yeah.
That could easily be $10, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's 2 pounds of ground beef, right? If
Mhm.
the average cost might be about $5 right now.
Yeah.
And then you go on to go to work, and you might have bought some snacks. You're snacking.
Yeah.
You go to lunch,
exactly.
and you have to get lunch at wherever nowadays. A lunch might be $15.
Yes.
On a fast food restaurant. I'm not talking sitting down
Yep.
lunch, right? I mean, it is not even noon, and you have probably spent $25, and you never got a truly nutritious
Yeah.
meal. So the argument is because you're thinking, the people who make the argument are thinking they don't even notice everything they spend on this other junk.
Yeah.
I guess a pound of lettuce versus a pound of beef. What's the price difference?
I don't know.
I don't
think
know.
a head of lettuce is usually a couple bucks, but it's not gonna go very
Yeah,
far.
yeah, I don't know that. But it's mostly, I call nature's toilet paper lettuce, salad.
It's gonna go straight to the trash. It just sits in the fridge and rots, so it's a waste of money.
And it's not a
Yes.
nutritionally dense food anyway. So
Yeah.
And it's poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
Our story against fat is our biggest problem. And then we're taught to fear fat, eating it or on our body.
Mm-hmm.
And we judge obesity on ourselves. And then we think ourselves less. And in our modern world of eat fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts, salad, lean meat, no red meat, it's killing our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But how much work does it take to truly raise a cow on grass versus growing grass? In essence, our growing of grass takes more resources than letting the cow just do the work it's built to do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get that, Alia?
I do. I want to know what you have to say about this. Still too many carnivores fear fat. They state they eat a lot, but when I ask them to track, it's barely 100 grams. If they're willing to greatly increase it for 30 days, they never go back. I don't even know how you would track 100 grams of fat, but it's interesting.
Do you track?
Yeah, I use Carb Manager, the app. It's helpful for me. I know some people can just kind of do it intuitively, but I almost feel like my signals were off after all my life of a bad diet. So it is helpful for me to track. That's the app that I like.
What do you track?
I track just
What
carbs.
do you eat that you track?
Oh, just I usually like weigh out my ground beef or put in my amount of eggs, kind of estimate the butter. I know it's not an exact science, but especially if you're coming to carnivore and you have no idea how much you should be eating, I think it is helpful to track.
Are there carbs in eggs and beef?
There's half a carb in one egg.
But there's sugars in all things we eat. Everything we eat has sugar because it's essential to the human diet.
yeah, and our body does what it needs to do with it.
It makes babies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is my saying. This is our saying. We have a shirt. Steak a day keeps the doctor away.
Do you eat any organ meats?
I've tried organ meats. I'll do the organ supplements once in a while, but I'm not very good at consistently taking them. I'm not a huge fan of liver. I can tolerate it, but not regularly, no.
Going back to what you were saying, things that improve, you did mention pain, right? Inflammation, pain. When did you realize, okay, something I'm eating and now I'm not, it's what was causing my inflammation and pain?
I mean, you could visibly see it on my face, especially. My face just finally got shape. You could see my jaw, especially in pictures. And I wasn't overweight before I started carnivore. I had a few pounds to lose. But within that few even the first week, the inflammation in my face really changed. Even other people commented. So that was pretty quick. And then as far as pain, at that point, I wasn't really experiencing regular pain. I guess it was more of just like heaviness that I would get, or like a stiffness that most people are like, oh, that's just aging. You're just getting older. But I think in a lot of cases, things have been normalized in called aging when it's really just inflammation in our body and disease.
By the way, as a point of reference to people who are, we're talking about grams of fat or whatever, if you use butter, ideally, if you listen to Dr. Kiltz at all, should be actual animal fat, because butter has been somewhat processed, pasteurized usually, unless you're getting raw butter. But the point is, a stick of butter, you can, if you want to be precise, you can get more specific numbers, but it's about 100 grams of fat.
Dan Track would like to know if you take into account the fat that comes out of the hamburger. Do you strain it and does it go down the drain?
I don't pour it down the drain. Pour it in the trash if you're not going to eat it. But I do put maybe some of it back onto the beef. I don't feel the need to use all of it that comes off of it, but I don't put it in a strainer and strain it off or anything. In the past, I have done where I pour it over the ground beef and eat it cold. Sometimes when you eat the hot burger fat, it can kind of run right through you. But if you eat it cold, you can kind of resolve that issue. If you are wanting to consume the fat off the burger, eating it cold can kind of help the bathroom issues because the hot fat can digest very quickly.
Let's see. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I do. I have had to cut back significantly. I don't know why, if it's just my body like processes things more sensitively or more efficiently, but I cannot drink caffeine like I used to. I used to drink a good pot of coffee a day, and now I am maybe 1 cup of regular caffeinated coffee, even decaf. If I have a cup of decaf after dinner, I can feel it around 3 a.m. I'll wake up. The caffeine just became, I just became very sensitive to caffeine after being on carnivore for a while. So, cut back, but still have a little bit. I enjoy it. And if I keep it under control, it doesn't seem to do me many negatives.
Lions Danavore podcast. I'm in a bodybuilding contest, and I was curious if tracking macros is something I should be doing. I feel amazing, though. Wouldn't it be counterintuitive if I force myself to eat more? Dr. Kiltz, Jamie, Dr. Nelson.
I think if you feel amazing, then you're probably doing it right.
I mean, the only track you need to do is the one you left for other people to follow. To me, that's who we really are. That's our ancient nature. We know what right looks like. And Jamie, it sounds like you're following what true right looks like. And you're helping your children follow the same thing in how we're living a carnivore, Christ carnivore lifestyle. To me is like the way.
It's the ultimate combination.
Ultimate combination, the Lion of Judah. He's the king, but everyone thought he was a sheep herder. He was, but sheep herders are not sheep. They're the actual guides of the sheep, which is saying you are a lion, not a sheep. Is science? Oh, go ahead.
Last question here. How do I get my wife and 4-year-old daughter on board? They eat sugar all day, and daughter has constant tantrums. They think I'm the crazy one.
Who's the lion of the house? The leader.
I know for my kids, involving them in the kitchen and in the grocery shopping and the decisions on what we're going to eat, like, they really enjoy that. If they help me make something, they are way more likely to eat it and be excited about it. So that really seems to help in our house. And then for my husband, he's not full carnivore either, but if you're trying, I can't speak to getting a wife on board, but to get a husband on board, get bacon.
Bacon is the solution for everything.
Start putting bacon on everything.
Get it out of the house. Someone said that's going to be impossible because Sean's wife and kids only eat carbs and sugar. Get the crap out of the house. Get it out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna, after the cravings are over, they're gonna thank you.
Yep.
What will be your advice to someone who's watching and is carnivore curious, hasn't made a decision yet, but they're looking into it? What will you tell them?
I think people can get overwhelmed because they see people going on this way of eating and they stay on it forever. So when you haven't gotten to that point yet, they might feel like if I do this, I'm going to have to do it forever. Just start with 30 days. Just start with a goal of 30, 60 days, whatever it is. Just start with that goal. I mean, that's kind of what happened to me. I said, I'm just going to try this for a week. And then I felt so good after a week that I said, okay, I'll try it for 30 days. And then I said, I'll try it for 90 days. And then I said, I'm just going to keep doing it. So take it one day at a time. And then once you do start, don't compare yourself to other people's healing. Because if you're a few weeks in and you're like, well, I haven't healed yet, I haven't experienced this and this, what everyone else is saying yet, don't compare yourself. It takes a long time to heal. I think we rush it, but we come from decades of not fueling ourselves properly and all of these ailments as a result. And we think we're going to fix them in 30 days. You just gotta, you gotta be patient, and you can't compare yourself to what somebody else experienced. But I think making small commitments at first can be a little bit easier to swallow than saying, I have to do this for the rest of my life.
You're a lion. Why wouldn't you? We've been corralled, domesticated, and we're They blame the addiction on you, but you are not addicted. You have been thrown into an addictive environment, and now you have to extract yourself. And the only thing that Jesus Christ did as a human philosopher is give us the secret. You contain the power of the gods. You don't need anybody else. He already gave you that secret. And so, are you a lion or a sheep? And I would say we are lions. We are carnivores. And what we're doing here is giving people a track to follow, a way of living.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to see just your regular human being.
And by the way, we are all regular human beings.
Yes.
There's
I
nobody higher or lower than
No.
anybody in the world. He did not say there's a hierarchy. He said, you are God.
Yes,
I am
I
God.
should word it as
No.
all walks of life.
You know, you did. I was just confirming what you're saying, Jamie,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes, all walks of human life and all life, all entities. Yeah. Love and forgiveness, peace,
Yes.
non-judgment. We're judged with love. Put the weapons away.
Steve Marks would like some Dr. Kiltz inspiration. Falling off the wagon.
Well, you know, that's natural for all of us. He hung out with sinners. Remember that. And he was saying, you're okay. That's natural. You're a human being. We just keep on getting up every day. He pushes us off the wagon. We don't fall off. He kicks us off. Strength, training grounds, critical. Suffering is strengthening. Remember, I always ask the question, who creates everything? Answer is
God.
So, in fact, he causes it all, and we're going like, what? Yep, he does. For a reason you may not understand right now. I think
His
that's what you were
power's
saying.
made perfect in our weakness.
Yeah. I am a sinner. And we're seeing the world throw the sinners under the bus. I think it's just a reminder we're all that. We're all imperfect.
It's time. It's time for the giveaway. Somebody's winning a Kiltz Cup today. Let's see who it is.
I've got a non-Kiltz Cup. Well, it's a Kiltz Cup because it's in my house.
I have to get.
I got to bring some new ones. I may even add some handles onto a few of them. We'll see.
Oh, interesting. I think it's Diana. Diana, congratulations. You just won a Kiltz Cup. Please email me, alia@drkiltz.com, and we will get that shipped off. There you go.
All righty. So have a great day, everyone. If you want to follow Jamie, this is her Instagram. You have a great Wednesday. The ones that are taking the course, we'll have a Q&A at 3 p.m. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. in our morning live. Meat-based BAM. I'm Mom. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
The mind